We know that the evidence tells us that exercise is one of the best methods of treatment that you can try if you have hip osteoarthritis. That's why in today's video, I'm going to go through some of the best exercises that you can try to help you with your symptoms. And I'm going to start right now. This strength exercise is helpful if you have knee or hip osteoarthritis, and it's going to work on your quadricep, the muscle at the front of your thigh. So you're going to straighten the knee, bring your toes towards you, lift the leg off the bed, and you can hold for any number of seconds. We're going to aim for 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Slowly down, relax off, and then again. Bring your toes towards you, contract that thigh nice and tight, and then lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly lower down. The next exercise I'm going to talk you through is a bridge, which will be useful if you have knee or hip osteoarthritis. You'll often find that there is some overlap between the two when it comes to rehabilitation, just because they move intrinsically together throughout the day, every day. So you're going to lie on your back, bend your knees, keep your feet flat on the floor, and then you're going to push up through your feet, and you're aiming for a nice straight line from your thigh all the way down through your trunk. Hold for a second or two, and then slowly lower down. And then go again, push up, squeeze, hold for a second or two, slowly lower down. With this exercise, you will find that the closer you bring your feet to your bottom, the more you'll be working on your glute strength, and the further you have your feet away from you, the more you will feel it in your hamstrings. The next exercise I'm going to talk you through is hip abduction in side lying, which is another really good exercise to engage your glutes. Now you're going to lie on your side, and you can keep your bottom leg completely straight, or you can have it slightly bent if you feel more stable having it that way, that's fine. Now key pointers with this exercise are you want to make sure your top hip is right over the top of your bottom hip. So the bony prominence here needs to be directly above the bony prominence on the other side. You want to make sure that there is a nice straight line from your trunk all the way down to your ankle. You don't want to bring your leg too far forwards or too far backwards. And you need to make sure that your toes are pointing forwards. Once you lift the leg up, don't be tempted to point your toes up to the sky. They need to point forwards. So you're going to slowly bring the leg up. Hold for a second or two. Slowly bring the leg down. Slowly bring the leg up. Slowly bring the leg down. Moving on to some exercises in standing for your glutes. You are going to do a standing hip abduction and a standing hip extension exercise. So you can hold onto something with support, keep your toes facing forwards, and then you're going to bring one leg out to the side and slowly back. Now, similar with the hip abduction in side lying, you need to make sure your toe keeps facing forwards and isn't tempted to turn out to the side. The other thing that you need to make sure that you are doing is keeping your trunk nice and straight, and you're not compensating when you go out to the side by tilting your trunk to the side. I'm going to interrupt just for a second to say if you would like to know any more about osteoarthritis or any other pain and rehabilitation related issues, then hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of this one. On to the hip extension, and this involves keeping the leg straight and bringing it back behind you. So hold on, make sure it's nice and safe. Bring the leg backwards and then back to standing. Keep your toes facing forwards throughout the exercise. And once again, make sure that you don't bring the leg backwards and lean forwards. Keep your trunk nice and straight. Try not to compensate at all. Now, it's the functional exercises that we really want to focus on when it comes to osteoarthritis of the knee. These are the movement patterns that we use most throughout the day, and they're brilliant because they will be engaging multiple joints and multiple muscle groups at the same time. So you will notice some crossover between knee and hip exercises. The first one we're going to do is a squat. Now, the easiest version of a squat would be to have a chair in front of you for some support and a chair behind you, because that's where you're going to be aiming your bottom. So you are going to start off with your feet around hip width apart. Hold on with support. Don't lean on the chair or the kitchen surface in front of you. It's there just to provide you with a little bit of confidence and safety. Now, the first thing you want to do is move your hips backwards. So you're going to move your hips backwards, and the chair behind you just acts as a nice cue for where you want your hips to go. So as you can see, you're engaging your ankles, your knees, your hips, and your core will also be working at the same time when you do this exercise. And obviously you need this sort of movement every time that you get yourself out of a chair. If you want to progress, when you feel confident enough, you can get rid of the chair in front of you and you can just have the chair behind you as your cue. And when you've gained even more confidence, or your pain allows you to, you can get rid of the chair behind you and you can try and work through more range of movement and try and go slightly lower. With all of these exercises, you can regress them right back to 25% of the movement with support to working through full range of movement with no support. Now, deadlifts are a brilliant way of trying to get your hamstrings and your glutes stronger. So try and find some sort of weight at home. You're going to start off with your feet around hip width apart or slightly wider, tiny bit of bend in the knee, and then you're just going to flex forwards from the hips, trying to keep your back nice and straight. Grab onto your weight and then you'll extend through the knee and the hip. Slowly lower your weight down and then back up. Now, depending on how tight your hamstrings are, will depend on how straight your knees will be when you do the exercise. I've got quite tight hamstrings, so I have to bend my knee quite a lot to get down to the floor. But if you're quite flexible in your hamstrings, then you will be able to keep your knee slightly straighter. If you don't have access to weights at home, then just grab a heavy duty bag or rucksack. You can chuck some cans of food in there, bags of rice, heavy books, and you'll just do the same thing. Hold onto your bag, straighten up through the knee and the hip, and then slowly lower back down. This exercise is called a split squat. It's a little bit like a lunge, but instead of lunging forwards and backwards, you keep your feet in the same place. Now, if you do have knee osteoarthritis, what people tend to do wrong is take a small step because you're worried about being off balance when you take a larger one, but that then means your knee has to come far over your toe, which can be uncomfortable when you lower down. So my advice would be, make sure you feel comfortable. You can use the back of a chair one side and the kitchen surface the other to make you feel stable. When you're ready, you're going to lower yourself down and then come back up. And as you can see, my front knee is not coming past my front foot. And the knee and the hip are working nice and hard, which is going to be good for your quadricep strength and your hip strength. A further exercise you might find useful to get your glutes engaged if you have some resistance band at home is to place it around your feet, and we're going to do some crab walks. An easier version would be to place it around your ankles, and an easier version that would be to place it around your knees. Turn your toes out slightly, bend your knees and your hips, and you're going to bring one foot in, one foot out, and you're going to sidestep across a small space at home. And it won't be too long before you feel those glute muscles working hard. I hope you found the video useful. There is some additional information below the video in the description to help you manage your osteoarthritis better at home. And I'd love to hear from you, so drop me a comment and let me know which exercise from today's video you found most helpful. If you are new to the channel, then do hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. And if you're feeling really generous, you can give us a thumbs up whilst you're there. If you have found today's video useful, then you may also like the video that I have put together on how and why exercise is good for osteoarthritis. And there's a whole playlist on the channel to help you manage your osteoarthritis better at home. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I will see you again very soon.